The Entrepreneurial Journey Podcast. We're talking business and building a culture that's kick-ass. Where we make it happen, grab your seat, let's have a blast. At the Entrepreneurial Journey Podcast.
Matembe with me. She's the CEO and founder of MoneyMatiX. Hi, Tynah. How are you doing?
I'm very good, Rebecca. Thank you for having me.
Absolute pleasure. Now, we were just chatting before we came on air. I met you maybe 2-3 years ago at one of these networking dinners, and MoneyMatiX was in its fairly early stages. So I'm just going to get right into it now and find out what you do and who you serve.
So thank you for asking, and that's such so interesting that it's been a long time, feels like a long time ago right now. So I am the founder of MoneyMatiX, and we are a financial inclusion company. We started out specifically to help people who are new to money, and that can take many forms. It can change. It can take a change in life moment, so changing circumstances, getting divorced, becoming an adult when you've been a young person, being new to country, and helping to map what financial well-being looks like for people in those circumstances, but also, and more importantly, helping financial services understand what this looks like from a financial inclusion point of view. Because you find that when you have a changing circumstance or an unusual or untold story, as I like to call it, you're not accounted for in the mainstream system. So helping financial services think about those ways and how they can be more inclusive when they're delivering financial services, while helping communities to learn how to maximize their money in the UK.
Right. Brilliant, incredibly useful, and so important. And I was doing my research on you. You used to be a banker, did you not?
Yes, I did. I've actually been a banker in two different settings. So here and where I am from originally, and that background in financial services and moving to the UK and becoming financially vulnerable suddenly, no matter that I had all the skills and all the seeming knowledge around it, was what frightened me into thinking I needed to do something about this.
Oh, tell me a little bit more about that, because I didn't know that part of your story.
So I moved to the UK just over 15 years ago from Uganda, and I was a banker. My background is in law. I studied as a lawyer, and I was in banking and legal services in Uganda. I moved here and quickly became financially vulnerable because you're new to country, you don't have a credit file, you're being measured differently from what the reality is, and you cannot tell anyone how good you are with money if it doesn't show on paper in the UK. Quickly combined with that, I had a child fairly soon, and just going through that navigation of trying to live, trying to survive in the UK. She was now getting to an age where she was starting to find out about money and understand the uses of money. But I was like, wait, this is a whole different world, a different way of working. And I wanted her to get the best of both worlds, understanding money from a cash point of view, but also understanding money in the UK, so what credit looked like. And I couldn't find a service that could help optimize this. So I went about creating resources to support her initially, and later on communities of people who are like myself.
Right. Okay. So this is from real personal difficulties, wanting to have a better outcome for your daughter, and then going, hang on a minute, it can't just be me and my daughter experiencing this, there must be a wider issue. So there is the seed of a business. Now, had you ever thought you would run a business? Had you ever been entrepreneurial before, or did that come as a shock to you?
Well, I was born into an entrepreneurial family. So
Right.
the way I described it is I was sitting at board tables from when I was
Right.
5 years old, because my parents ran a business.
Okay.
Typically, breakfast was a board meeting, so I had grown up around business. It wasn't the path that I intended to, But I think when
Mm.
you're born and around that a lot, you're just used to problem solving. And if something doesn't have a solution, you're going to go and fix it. So that for sure, I had that background. But when I was going to study, for example, when I was going to school to do law, that was
Mm.
never my intention. I was like, I'm going to go and do law, become a barrister, live the best life possible. It's kind of
I-
sprung on me.
yeah, I'm going to be super mainstream, super professional. I'm not going to do this self-employment lark. Yeah, but it's in
Absolutely.
your blood.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah, no, so true. So, okay, I'm really genuinely curious to know the differences in attitude are between the UK and Uganda in terms of money, because us Brits tend to not like to talk about money at all. What culturally, what's it like in Uganda when it comes to money?
Well, the first and most important difference that caused the vulnerability in the first place is the whole credit rating system.
Okay.
Uganda is very cash based. You have money, you do stuff, you have physical cash, you plan for things. I mean, I use the example of building a house. Whenever our parents were going to do like a building project, you go away, you save up money, you buy a plot of land, and then you go away and save again, and you build the foundation, and things are incremental, and you're seeing physical cash that's exchanging hands, that's being built up to create this. When I came here, this money just became airy fairy. First of
Mm,
all, interestingly, and that's back to the point around becoming vulnerable even when you're not supposed to be. We came with a lot of cash, because I
okay.
mean that's what we did. We went to the bank. We were moving to the UK. We withdrew cash. We declared it at the airport and came in, and could not get banked because nobody wanted to take the cash. Everyone is asking for
Ah,
evidence of the cash, and it's this big thing. And we got the police pulled up on us in a bank when we were really frustrated, and we just threw the money on the table, and investigations of where the money was coming from. And this was all new to me.
gosh.
So the biggest difference, and that caused the vulnerability most, was the whole use and approach to money coming from cash to credit and needing to be tracked in some sort of system, whereas I was used to just having my cash on me.
Yeah. It's something, obviously, growing up in the UK, I would never have considered at all. Okay, good. Right. Crikey, that must have been awful to arrive here and suddenly be accused of being a criminal. That's not a nice feeling at all. Um, so, okay, let's roll forward. How has the business evolved over the past? I think it's been going since 2018. Is that right?
That's
Yeah.
right, yes.
Where did it begin and where is it now?
Oh, Rebecca, that's we need 2 days for that.
Right. Okay.
So, as I mentioned, I thought, well, I've managed to come through this. We're now getting somewhere. We've started improving. We've got our feet on the ground. My daughter is now around 8 years old,
Wow.
and she's becoming more and more detached from the realities of having to save or understanding what I felt were the basic principles of money. So I'm like, gosh, I need something for this child. I need a resource of some sort. I couldn't find any there was a lot of financial education, but it was very theoretical, first of all, and secondly, it was not accounting for this circumstance where I was trying to teach the basic principles of cash and
Mm,
the joys of credit, that balance. So I thought, I'm going to go away and create a piggy bank, and I want this piggy bank to have the different compartments of the lessons that I want to teach her. That was literally what I set out to do. Had a few
okay.
prototypes drawn up, and I'm like, yeah, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to create this piggy bank. It's going to be awesome. It was a caterpillar, actually. Got some drawings done, and I'm like, this is what I'm going to do. And everything I'm going to teach is going to be based around these principles to bring cash and virtuality to life. Um, got into the real world, and the first reality was, excuse me, nobody's using piggy banks anymore, not the way you're trying to use them anyway. So you might want to think about something digital. So
Okay.
started having to change that thought. And indeed, all the research we did when we were doing the user research was showing, yep, this needs to go digital. It needs to be something that's a digital resource. So changed the strategy and started teaching physically, going to grassroots, going into schools and delivering. And then over lockdown, we found that, well, first of all, the business model crashed overnight when lockdown hit. We were suddenly not able to go into schools. That was just cut off immediately. But then a new situation arose where people who are underrepresented were very, very much more hit by COVID and the effects. So started getting called in to support around that, financial well-being for underrepresented communities, and how they manage money, and why they don't have a buffer for money to deal with situations like when COVID happens. And so it's morphed into this a two-pronged approach to helping people to manage money, but also helping services to understand how they can support customers, both young and old, to have better access to financial services and consumer duty, really.
So your influence has now spread into schools, into corporates, and so that includes all kinds of pockets of society, not just the underrepresented people. How are you spreading yourself so far and wide, Tynah? What size of team do you have now?
Yes, so that's been another journey as well. But
Yeah.
we have a team of delivery partners. So I have a bank
Okay.
of staff that come out to deliver when we're doing. Last week we were doing a Make Your Money Grow program, which is our youth program, and so we have a bank of staff that would come in and support us with that. And then we have a core team of 5 people who do the day-to-day, and we work on the corporate side. And then we have a podcast that we've recently launched. So we have 2 other people working on that. So quite a diverse team. And we're just learning how to morph the two, having some offsite and some people that are on the ground. So it's getting there.
Yeah, it's fascinating. Are you enjoying it?
Yes, I love it. I love just, seeing people growing, and hearing someone coming back and saying, oh yes, I did, I spoke to the bank and they said this, or a child in one of our programs just going away and making a profit on a program we've been running. It's so fulfilling.
It is. It's wonderful. I think learning, it's not even controlling money, isn't it? Is it? I mean, you're the expert. I'm trying to describe this, but it's understanding how to make money work for you rather than it controlling you. Have I put that correctly?
100%. It's
Right.
the first thing I always say to people is, guess what? We each have it in us to be able to manage money, because we need to define what money looks like for us. So everyone always thinks, oh, I'm not good at managing money. No, you are, because you get to decide how you want to approach it. And once you settle that, your mindset changes.
Mm. Yeah, it really does. I can't remember when. I think I've always been quite good at saving a little bit every single month and watching it build up. And has been at times in your life when you've got kids and you're paying nursery fees and all kinds of things where that is not as much as you'd like it to be. But as I think it's getting into a habit, isn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And in this day and age, we can automate, trying to automate as much as you can, or getting an accountability partner, small changes, or for many of the communities we work with, joining a circle of friends who can, save it together, kind of thing. So just trying to find your flow and doing a little bit at a time that works for your schedule and your lifestyle.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, everybody. Did you know at TriCrest, we've built a kick-ass culture coach and consultant program? So if you're a business coach or consultant and you're looking for something new, add to your toolbox, or even escape the 9 to 5, join us at our next event. Links in the information on the podcast. See you there. One of the wonderful Paula Wingate. I don't know whether you've met Paula Wingate, have you? She's one of those people that everybody knows. She sent me a book called The Compound Effect. And obviously, you being a financial person, you will fully comprehend the compound interest effect,
Yeah,
magical impact. But this book talks about that being across your life. And I think money is one of those things where you say the word and people kind of have this mental block, don't they?
absolutely.
And they're kind of like, it's too big. I can't think about it, so they ignore it.
Yeah.
How young are the young kids that you work with? When is a good time to start teaching kids about money, do you think?
Oh, it's as soon as they can speak, they should be
Uh-huh.
trying to understand because I look at money as a life skill. It is a life
Mm,
skill. Because if you can manage money well, it translates to other time. You'll be able to manage time better. There's many other things that you can teach. So as soon as you get the first opportunity, the moment they start asking questions, start having the conversations. Our
mhm,
programs start from 8-year-old upward. So we have youth money camps that we run for 8-year-olds and up, and we have like a midlife age group. So last week we're working with children who are 14 to
mm,
20 thereabouts.
brilliant,
So, and
brilliant.
also it's good to understand that there's different phases in life. What you teach a 2-year-old is different from what you teach someone going to start uni, and is
Yeah.
also different from what you teach someone that's new to the country, and it's trying to understand that flow of life moments and pegging education to that.
Yeah, I remember, explaining to my kids about national insurance and PAYE, because they were so excited about getting, I don't know, their first proper full-time job, and I went, "Yes, okay, not all that money goes to you. You have
Yeah,
to give some of
yeah.
it to the government." "Oh, mum, where's that gone?"
Absolutely, absolutely. We've had those lessons so many times as well, yeah. And the fast paycheck coming short of what you planned and thinking, wait,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And then when they go out on their own, then there's council tax and this and utility bills, and then they go, I don't actually have as much as I thought I would. Right. Yes, welcome to the real world.
Absolutely. And to that point, actually, different taxes look different for different people. So
Mm,
when you are a student, you don't have to pay council tax. Or if you're
okay,
coming from another country, you may never have heard of council tax before.
true.
So it may not sound appropriate, but sometimes even what sounds like the most basic thing, you need to point out because depending on someone's life moment, I might have spent the whole time at uni never having heard of council tax, and then it's suddenly, wait, what is that type
Yeah.
thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're absolutely right. So where are you taking these programs? How far and wide are you going?
At the moment, we are in Scotland and in England. We have a debt advice partner that's
Oh,
based in
great.
England, and so we work across the Scotland and England. We are hoping to get into Ireland, but we've not had an opportunity yet. We are in talks with a youth group there that we are hoping to go and deliver the youth
Good.
program, but that's been on the cards for about 6 months now. Hopefully, I'll be able to say we're in Ireland soon too. But it's
Fingers
mostly the
crossed.
Scotland and England at the moment that we work.
Cool. That's good. That's really good. I'm interested to know how running a business has changed, if at all, or strengthened your own personal beliefs around money. What difference has that made?
Um, I think the biggest one is business is like you can run your business as you do your family life, depending on how far and how wide you want to do it. When you're a founder, unfortunately, there it's going to cross over because
Mm.
I mean, I go to bed thinking about the business. I wake up, it's another, I tell my children because they're desperate for a pet at the moment. And I'm like, guys, we have a pet, and that pet is called MoneyMatiX because it's a fully fledged part of this household.
Yeah, yeah,
And so
totally.
I've had to learn to bring them in as much as possible because you just have to be such a better custodian of your time. And
Mm,
managing money is just like that. It's being a custodian of your money. How are you going to look after it, and how are you going to interact with it? And that's what
mm,
I've found, that the crossover. So how much do I want the children to get involved? How much Do I want my husband to get involved? I do a lot of traveling. How often do I involve them? Do I peg a few days on at the end of a trip so that they can, not feel like mommy's not always around type thing? And it's the same with money. What do I want the money to be saying about my lifestyle? What areas of my life do I want to applaud with my money?
Mm. And I'm curious to know about this as well, because a lot of areas of society think it's a bad thing to want to make money. I've personally never thought that. I think, it's a great thing to make money because you can do loads of good with it. But do you come across those attitudes anywhere? Oh no, you shouldn't want to make money.
Every day, every day.
Really?
And
Really?
sadly, because of that, we think money is a taboo. We've taught people
Yeah.
that money is the root of all evil. We've taught
Mhm.
people that money doesn't grow on trees. We have a psychological barrier that makes us ashamed. And
Mhm.
I was that person for a long time when I came to the UK, because growing up, I had never had to think about money. Money was just a means to an end. I needed to go somewhere, therefore I needed to find money, and the money was there.
Mhm.
But when I got to this place of vulnerability, I suddenly had to think about money. And then you found that people would frown upon you for wanting the finer things in life.
Mhm.
And we really need to change that attitude, because a very good phrase I like to quote is, there is no mission if you don't have a profit. So no matter
Mhm.
how much good you want to do in the world, you need money to do that good. So if you have a mission or you want to achieve anything, you're going to need money. So you need
Yeah.
to make money so that you can make a difference. And we need to get our heads around that. We also need to stop shaming quality of life. Of
Yeah.
just because someone would like to go on holidays, all that's what they choose to do. It's
Yeah.
okay. And we
Yeah.
need to start sending the right messages, especially to the younger people, because money is not the root of all evil. It
No.
is actually the root of all evil is not having money, because that leads you to all sorts of unscrupulous activity. So in
Yeah.
my experience, it's the lack of money that is the root of all evil. What the
Totally.
issue is how you approach money and what you do with the money. But finding and having money in itself should not be um, you know made a big deal of, or become villain.
Yeah, I agree. The Americans are better at this than us Brits, definitely. They're good at celebrating wealth creators. And I know through the work I've done with American individuals and businesses, they're really good at putting back and putting a proportion of their income to philanthropic causes. Um, and so they directly link making more money to greater philanthropy, which is brilliant. And yeah, they still have nice houses, nice cars, nice holidays, and all the rest of it. And they're not apologetic about it. And I like that. We definitely need more of that in the UK. Not to lord it over people, but to go, do you know what? It's okay to aspire to this. Um, yeah.
Absolutely. We need to celebrate we need to celebrate it more when people are making money. And also we need to not victimize people that have money, which is a big
Mhm.
deal. The
Mhm.
assumption, which I find very interesting in the UK, is that anyone that has money is evil, or they're a bad
Yeah,
person. It's like, wait, where is there anything in their reputation that says that? That's not the case at all. And we should,
yeah,
if anything, be looking up to them to learn from them, because that means they're managing something right. So it's
yeah,
mindset shift.
yeah. My mum thought that. My mum thought all rich people were evil. It's like, well, wait, what? Hang on a minute. Where on earth do you get that from? Because she thought to have money, you had to take it from somebody else. But that's a fundamental, I think, misunderstanding of money is that actually you create more. You don't take it off other people. You create more. It's not a finite resource.
Yes. You've touched on a great point, Rebecca, because even in business, you find that if you do not believe that you're helping someone, you're ashamed to charge a fee. You're
Mhm.
ashamed to ask for what your value is worth. You don't account for your time well enough, and so you charge less, or you're ashamed to market. Actually, another good example is we just don't like salespeople. We think salespeople and marketeers are the root of all evil. Again, they're just these pests, Whereas actually, the fact that I'm bringing this to your attention means that I'm helping you with a service. If you're willing to part with your money for something, it means I'm adding value, or it should mean that I'm adding value. So the key should be on measuring quality of delivery than
Yeah.
actually asking what you're charging for something.
Yeah, totally agree. So where are you taking the business? What's the big plan, Tynah?
Well, financial inclusion for everyone in the UK.
Love
That's
it.
a very big deal. I would like to engage with most mainstream financial services and policymakers
Good.
from the point of view of, I feel that a lot of the poverty we see and the financial issues in society are unnecessary. We
Mm,
just are not. People know how to manage money if we give them the right resources,
yeah.
but we're not good at communicating what resources are available. As I've just given some examples, we vilify having money and that sort of thing. Financial services have a responsibility, and everyone, I mean, insurance services providers have a responsibility to be more visible and to be
Mm,
more inclusive to everybody. And if all of us are able to do better with money, the economy thrives. So
yeah.
my goal is to look to engage with as many financial services and providers and show them how they can make their resources more inclusive and help
Yeah.
people get better.
Yeah. And actually go into the communities, Tynah, because in poorer communities, they don't come into the city centres, which is where the banks are these days. And obviously all the local branches have now closed, so they need to go out into the communities where the people are at who need the most support. And I guess that's what you're doing, and you just need a big machine to help you get into those areas, don't you?
Absolutely, yeah. It's reaching people at their point of and their place of need or wherever they
Yeah.
are, and also not bombarding them. So if my issue right now is getting on the property ladder, let's deal with
Mhm.
that. If my issue right now is putting food on the table, let's deal with that. So not bombarding and giving the right information at the right time on the user's terms, not on your term because you're a bank.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. So I have a great savings habit. I save at least 10% of my income every month. And I learnt this a few years ago. I paid off 20% of my income, paid off some residual debt I had. I then started saving 10%. In fact, I save more than 10% now. And what a difference it makes in a really short space of time. And it's so easy to do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's I always tell people, think about what every pound that's coming into your life is doing. Is it saving some? Is it giving some, being a bit philanthropic? Is it investing some for tomorrow? And is it leaving some today, right? So what is every pound you're doing?
Yeah.
What every pound that comes into your life, what story is it painting?
I like that. I like that analogy. Right. Tynah, if your business had a personality or a character, how would you describe it?
Ooh, a personality as in, let me go for a superhero.
Cool.
Let's see, a cross between, I love Thor.
Oh, yes.
Thor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thor, I think he's a dreamer and he just has this massive strength, and a bit of Wonder Woman, a bit of sparkle
Oh,
and Wonder Woman.
I love Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
I grew up in the 70s, so I grew up with the original. It's taken me ages to track you down to get onto the podcast. So I know you're phenomenally busy. So thank you so much. And I wish you the best of luck. And yeah, I'd love to see everybody in the UK with a decent financial education. Thank you.
it's been lovely speaking with you, Rebecca.
Look out and listen out for our next Entrepreneurial Journey podcast with Colin Stevens, an MBA skills coach. He's built a fantastic coaching academy for basketball, and he's now using coaching skills to support men in their emotional development, in their business development, in their relationship development, and running retreats for men. He's a fantastic guy, and you really ought to listen to him. Thanks for listening, everybody. Did you know at TriCrest we've built a kick-ass culture coach and consultant program? So if you're a business coach or consultant and you're looking for something new, add to your toolbox, or even escape the 9 to 5, join us at our next event. Links in the information on the podcast. See you there.
The Entrepreneurial Journey Podcast. We're talking business and building a culture that's kick-ass.